Into the offseason we go. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by as we react to ESPN's article that came out today where they gave their way too early power rankings for the 2026 season after the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. They also gave a 3-word slug for every single team in the National Football League. And Jordan Raanan, the Giants insider for ESPN, talked about what could go down for the Giants this offseason. We're going to react to that and more. And then on the tail end of the show, we're going to talk about some free agent targets that John Harbaugh could look to target. Let's start with the power rankings. ESPN has ranked the New York Giants 25th in their post-Super Bowl power rankings, as well known as their way too early 2026 power rankings. Every year I react to this list, and every year I react to the power rankings for the New York Giants. And every year I say, I'm biased, but that feels a little bit too low. Low meaning way too close to number 32 overall. And every time I've said that in the past, I have believed the Giants are better than what ESPN or the other major media outlets believe. This time, I don't understand how you can say the New York Giants are a bottom 8 team in the National Football League. I mean, ESPN, you have a metric called the Football Power Index, which is pretty much an all-in-one ranking of how good every team is. And that ranking has the New York Giants as the 16th best team in the NFL. Negative 0.2 points per game, essentially. This is what they say their FPI power index is. The Football Power Index is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points or below average a team is. Projected results are based on 10,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI. Results to date and the remaining schedule, ratings, and projections update daily. They also say that Football Power Index is something that measure a team's true strength on net points scale, expected points margin versus average opponent on a neutral field. So you have this analytical device that says the Giants are the 16th best team in the NFL, but somehow in your post-Super Bowl, way too early 2026 NFL Power Rankings, you have the New York Giants at 25th. I believe the Giants are closer to 16 than 25. I just don't understand how you can say that, especially when you factor in the Giants being healthier next season. Knock on wood. What happens when you have a healthy Malik Neighbors out there? The New York Giants beat some pretty good teams last year and should have beat some pretty good teams last year without Neighbors playing. And what happens if you get a full 17 games of Cam Scadaboo and Jaxson Dart takes a step next year, and John Harbaugh ups the level of this team when it comes to winning games? Like, I don't know. I do this show every year, and I react the same way every year. This time, though, I truly do feel as if 25 is a little bit too low. The rest of the Super Bowl, post-Super Bowl power rankings for the NFC East look like this. The Philadelphia Eagles come in at number 8, the Dallas Cowboys at number 18, the Commanders at number 20, and our New York Football Giants at number 25. I tweeted this out a couple of weeks ago, and I'll read it again, and I'll say, why can't the Giants win the NFC East this year? They have the best coach. Is anybody taking Nick Sirianni over John Harbaugh? Is anybody taking Schottenheimer over Harbaugh? Is anyone taking Dan Quinn over Harbaugh? I don't think so. You got the best left tackle in the division. You have Andrew Thomas. Other teams do not. You have the best pass rush in the division. I'm biased. I think Malik Neighbors is the best wide receiver in the division. I'll hear the chatter for CeeDee Lamb. I'll hear the chatter for George Pickens. I'm sorry. Scary Terry, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, they are not Malik Neighbors. You also have Jaxson Dart, and you have the number 5 overall pick. Like, why can't the Giants win the NFC East next year? Do I think it's a lock? No, but I do think that they are being underrated this time, and it's accurately to say underrated because I think they're going to be a heck of a lot better. If you want the Giants to win the NFC East, hit that thumbs up icon. There has not been a 3-peat NFC East champ since 2002, in 2004. We got to break down the rest of this article around the corner. First, though, I got to give a shout out to our proud sponsor of today, and that is PrizePicks. Shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. Don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Football may be done this year, but there's a lot of hoops, and there's a lot of opportunities to get in with PrizePicks. I'm rolling with James Harden to have more than 8 assists on Monday night. I always love how PrizePicks do these kind of like discounts where they have lowered the point total for Nikola Jokic. Throw that into your lineup, put these two together. You could potentially win 3 times your entry fee. Shout out to PrizePicks. We appreciate having them on the channel. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If your pick is right, you could cash in. Shout out to PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. All right, ESPN, we talked about, gave 3 words for every single team to kind of just all in one write who they are. ESPN's 3 words for the Giants: John Harbaugh's team. And it is John Harbaugh's team. And hopefully it's an era of John Harbaugh football. And hopefully we move a little bit away from the Giants' way of 2017 and on, which is the second most losing organization in this league, to a John Harbaugh type of football team, one that consistently wins a lot of football games. ESPN's Jordan Raanan wrote this, saying the Giants have some solid players, beginning with quarterback Jaxson Dart. It's partially why Harbaugh took the job this offseason. But this roster is about to get reworked to Harbaugh's liking. He has already made it known that anybody who doesn't love football will not be a part of the team. Adding a fullback, becoming more physical, and building the defense for the back end will all be a part of this offseason. Also, finding more playmakers for Dart in the offseason. There is a way that John Harbaugh likes to play football. He wants to play physical. A lot of big bodies in the trenches. That AFC North type of football. Just like in the AFC North, it's rough and rugged. It's going to be like that in the NFC East. Harbaugh, I know he's a special teams guy. He's also a defensive back guy as well. I expect for the Giants to see reinforcements added to this team in the defensive backfield, and I expect for maybe an inside linebacker to be paid similarly to Roquan Smith being paid when John Harbaugh was the head guy for the Baltimore Ravens. You're also going to get a fullback. You're going to play with a fullback this year. I like that. Ground and pound. If you're not going to stack the box, we're going to run through that light box. Patrick Ricard spent 9 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, has a really good relationship with Harbaugh. I spoke to someone close to the Baltimore Ravens locker room this offseason, and they said they would be shocked if Ricard is not going to be a Giant. 6'3", 300 pounds, leading the way for Cam Scadaboo on short yardage downs, as well as leading the way potentially for quarterback runs for Jaxson Dart. It makes a lot of sense. Smash mouth football. Get back to that northeast, northbeast type of football. Patrick Ricard, a free agent this year. I could see him inking a deal to join Big Blue. I also think the O-line, and continue to build on the O-line, will be a priority with Harbaugh. He saw his offensive line essentially cost him the season last year in Baltimore. Their right guard did not live up to par. The Giants' right guard, Greg Van Roten, is going to be a free agent. The Giants' starting right tackle is going to be a free agent. John Harbaugh did not come here to not invest in the offensive line. He knows that you win games in the trenches. You watched last night in the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots could not block, and they could not win the game. You can't block, you're not going to win the big game. Look for big additions to the right tackle spot. Maybe that's Jermaine Illuminor coming back. I expect a priority pick to be made on the interior offensive line, and really just chips continuing to be spent on this interior offensive line, as well as the whole offensive line. John Harbaugh's not here to play around with the O-line. I expect the defensive line to get some upgrades as well. And when it comes to the draft, I just have a hard time believing, and I could be wrong, and I'll gladly admit if I am wrong. Never been afraid to do that. I don't see how the New York Giants could pass on Caleb Downs if he is there at pick number 5. Harbaugh just saw what Kyle Hamilton did for that Baltimore Ravens defense. The defenses haven't been great over the last 5-ish years, but they've been a heck of a lot better when it comes to production compared to talent, because Kyle Hamilton has had an S on his chest for the last 3 years, and he's been able to cover up a lot of blemishes on that defense. That's exactly who Caleb Downs is. You watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. I know Devon Witherspoon plays more outside corner, but he plays in the slot. He plays in the box. He'll be that big nickel. We saw him blitzing off the edge. He is a chess piece on the defensive side of the ball. And all I could see when number 21 in Navy last night was hopefully number 5 or something like that, maybe number 2 for Caleb Downs with the New York Football Giants, making plays all over the football field. This defensive back room is going to be reworked, and I believe it could be Caleb Downs at number 5. And keep your eyes on Marlon Humphrey as well. We've talked about on the channel before. We've heard some chatter that the Baltimore Ravens could move on from him this offseason to save some money. There's been some other publications that have pushed the idea that the Giants could trade for Marlon Humphrey this offseason. If the Humphrey and Harbaugh relationship is good and Harbaugh still thinks Humphrey can play, I would not be shocked if he is on one boundary corner and then Paulson Adebo is on another. You also have to ask the question, what are the Giants going to do at the inside linebacker spot? Bobby Okereke is a prime cut candidate. You move on from him, you save $9 million. Has not played good football, at least to the level he once set the last 2 years. Micah McFadden is coming off a season-ending injury. He's going to be a free agent. How much money are the Giants willing to give him? I'm sorry, you cannot enter 2026 with Darius Musow being your third inside linebacker. If you do that, you're going to see teams make plays beyond the line of scrimmage over and over and over again. You're tired of giving up 2nd and 28 on screen passes? Get somebody at inside linebacker that can make plays sideline to sideline. You're tired of seeing that no-name running back for the Philadelphia Eagles go for 34 yards on 3rd and 30 on an inside run? Get somebody at the inside linebacker spot. Harbaugh knows how important that position is. I think he's going to go out and fill it. You look at the rest of the free agents that come from the Baltimore Ravens that played last year for John Harbaugh. Tyler Linderbaum is obviously a name that everybody wants. And I would love to have Linderbaum. He's a hell of a football player. He's a tone setter. And you win on the offensive line. Are the New York Giants going to give Tyler Linderbaum $18 million per year? I wouldn't be mad if they do. I would be hyped for it. But there's going to be a lot of teams wanting his services. And there's a lot of people that want him on their football team. I'd love to have him. We'll see. Keep an eye on Draymond Jones, Isaiah Likely. If you want to bring in a veteran like Kyle Van Noy, maybe a wide receiver that could play some special teams, and Tylan Wallace, or Darius Washington, the safety. He had a really good year in 2024. Was kind of banged up in 2025. I don't expect DeAndre Hopkins to be a giant. Chidobe Awuzie, he is a really good corner who has continued to just stretch out the life of his career. Would not be shocked at all if he is a Giant that they could look to target for cheap. We're only 27 days away from NFL free agency. You're 27 days away from the tampering window opening up. You're 29 days away from the new league year opening it up. That is when contracts can be signed, but players can agree verbally to a deal with a new team on 27 days from now. Exciting times. How will John Harbaugh build out this roster? I'm excited to see. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Giants are still being slept on, even with a new head coach. We'll see if they're ready to go and get some W's this year.